What's up, traders? Matt from the Trade Brigade here doing a technical analysis on ticker symbol DWAC for Digital World Acquisition Company. On the left-hand side, we do have the daily time frame, and on the right-hand side, the 30-minute intraday time frame. First things first, this will, of course, be an update. You can see our chart is already marked up with a daily roadmap. I want to point out a couple of critical things, so I'm going to expand this chart, make it a little easier on the eyes here. The main thing would be that we're coming into this kind of area of supply. We certainly poked up above it with some authority on today's session, but it's really kind of up here where I would start thinking about, is this going to resist or is it just going to blow right through? Okay. As of right now in the post market, we're 62.50, give or take. So slightly backed off from the highs in here, but not by a whole lot. And I would certainly argue it's well within the range of healthy consolidation. So from an overhead perspective on the daily, I wanted to make note of, again, just this sort of zone right here. It starts at 68 and it goes up until about 73.50, just for round number's sake. After that, that's where things really open up, remembering that that's kind of where the madness was for that massive run higher up towards 175. We don't have a whole lot of candle structure in there. However, I would imagine that remembering how many people were trying to get involved in the stock back here, there's a lot of people who are bag holding positions, right? They got involved at, 100 plus, and now they're sitting trying to wait for a payday if they haven't, cut their loss already. Again, just knowing that there are those people back here who are technically overhead supply, it's just, I don't know. To me, any sort of spikes here, if we get into it and all of a sudden you start seeing big sell side reaction, to me, it would just seem like people are dumping their positions, trying to get out for a break even or a smaller loss from what they had earlier. Again, I'm not guaranteeing that the stock moves lower as we move higher, but it's just something to keep on your radar. Okay. So those are my longer term thoughts on what happens as we get up and into this area of the chart. Now, from a technical perspective, this is certainly a solid green bodied candle, and we see an increase in volume. That checks out for looking for momentum style continuation. So if we are going to continue on some solid momentum, I would start arguing that we would at least want to see 2 million shares per 30-minute bar sustained throughout the course of a breakout day. So if on tomorrow's session we start seeing something like this, and in the first 30 minutes we have, let's just say 5 million shares go through, the second 30-minute bar we get another 5 million shares go through, that would be a good indication that there's probably enough gas in the tank, essentially momentum, right, to push us up and through this area of resistance on the daily. That's what I wanted to get out of the way with, momentum, volume, all of that stuff is very, very important on these types of plays. Now, from the 30-minute perspective, let's take out the Fibonacci's. Of course, we can go with structure. I just want to see how it aligns before we go ahead and throw the fibs on there. Coming in from the 930 low, up to the first high, all right, somewhere, let's go with this high, actually, yeah, let's go with the true high. What you'll notice is the 38.2 did actually hold, and that is the thing of beauty here. On the pullback, it held, so this time around, we'll take the fibs out. From the low, all the way to the true high of day. And what we get here is about a 50% retracement of today's range is that must hold area at that 57.40. And as I mentioned earlier, we are slightly off of the highs from the overnight session, but still nowhere near that 50% mark. So let's talk in terms of scenarios now. As long as we open up above 57.40, I would say that's a bullish thing here. Bullish consolidation can continue up above, basically giving us a huge 30-minute bull flag. Any breakouts, as we know, we should be looking at 68, and then, just sort of monitor for this zone of resistance. Any clearance on big volume, as we pointed out, so like 5 million shares plus per 30-minute bar, start to get us into this area of resistance, prior support from in here at and around $87.50. Monitor 90. After that, I would watch 100 psychological. This is all if it's going to be a huge momentum style play. Now, if we just consolidate and go sideways in here, then fine, just treat it as exactly that and be patient, right? Any breakdowns underneath 57.40, I would just not really want to be involved in the stock, noting that if we make a move back down closer to 52, that's where you want to start watching for, support, right? We can see from in here and then resistance here, and that's kind of the breakout point. That would technically set up a break retest, maybe wait and be patient to see if we can start forming any reversal patterns, right? So that would look something like this, double bottom off of that on the potential break and retest, back long up and over the neckline, could look something like this. So you get inverted head and shoulders, could be a number of patterns, but it would require a 30-minute pattern off of 52 on the break and retest, as we mentioned, from the daily perspective. So those are really my thoughts here on the potential scenarios I would watch out for. I did want to put out that piece earlier on in the video about the potential for a lot of overhead supply here, remembering that there was enormous amounts of volume, and obviously we're well off of anything, that was better than 100 for an entry, right? So keep all of that stuff in mind. The stock does look like it's coming back to life. Everything in terms of momentum style trades is always going to boil back down to volume. If it's there, fine, look for the bullish setups. If it's not there, probably stay away and be a little bit more patient until a structural trade presents itself. That's really going to wrap up the video. If you enjoyed it or learned anything new, let me know in the comments section or by giving the video a thumbs up. Don't forget our main channel is linked in the description, and all of that being said, I wish you a green trading week.